Welcome to Mose Cybersecurity Institute's YouTube channel. My name is Benjamin Mose. I'm the founder of the Institute. And today I'd like to share with you what I think are the top 3 reasons why candidates that apply for junior and internship positions are being turned down, and offer you some tips as to what you can do to increase your chances of landing your first job in the industry. So let's get started. Reason number 1, in my opinion, is that too many candidates have technical skills that are just too low compared to what the industry needs them to have to give them the green light to join a team where they can add value to that team. And so the 4 core skills that I think anybody that wants to have a chance to land a technical position in the industry must have are that number 1, you need to know how to use virtual machines. It just sounds really simple, but when you're a junior analyst or an entry-level intern, people are going to ask you to do stuff in virtual machines, and we're seeing plenty of candidates that have never used VirtualBox, have never installed Windows, have never installed Linux, can't use Kali. And so if first and foremost you can't use virtual machines, basically you're starting, very badly as to how they're going to go about, giving you a chance to join their team. Secondly, I truly believe that programming is a key skill for any technical cybersecurity professional. Now, you don't need to be a full-time developer, but if you've managed to spend 200 hours, 300 hours programming before your first job, you're starting with a huge head start that will be an advantage for the rest of your career. If you know how web applications work, how databases work, how Windows networks are connected, and maybe you can do some scripting with PowerShell, all that stuff will come in super handy for the rest of your career. Thirdly, I think you need to spend many hours learning about Windows internals. Windows is the number 1 operating system you'll most likely have to defend. So you need to know, what's a PE file, what's the Windows registry, what's PowerShell. You need to know how to use all these components. At this stage, you don't need to go to a kernel land level, but at least you need to master all the user land utilities that make, the Windows operating system. And then finally, and I put this as an optional one because we've hired interns that did not have this, and we think that if you have programming, you know how to use VMs, and you know about Windows internals, you can learn that 4th one. That's simply knowing about vulnerabilities and attacks. If you know what's a SQL injection and how to exploit it, well, you have better chances of getting a job as an intern in a pen testing team than if you don't know what that is. But if you know about programming and about databases and about web applications, then you can probably learn about SQL injection in less than a day. So these are the 4 skills that I would say you really need to have on your CV, that you need to be able to demonstrate during the interview process to show that you have the technical skills that will be sufficient to at least get an internship. Problem number 2 that we see with a lot of candidates is that even when people have good technical skills, they have what I would call the wrong technical skills. It is a little bit judgmental, but let me explain to you what I think are the right technical skills to develop to have a very long-lasting career in cybersecurity, and that is to solve what is typically referred to as enterprise security problems. We have candidates that on their CV, they're giving me an exploit that they've exploited a buffer overflow against a DVD player that I've never heard about. Nobody cares about that. Nobody cares about buffer overflows in some pieces of software that nobody knows about, nobody uses. That's not the good stuff. What we want is we want to see people that can do a lot of automation, automate security, deploy security at scale. We want to see people who can do some malware and vulnerability analysis, that can explain why a particular attack technique works, how to test it in a network, write a proof of concept, write a detection that goes with it that then we can put into a Yara rule or we can put into a Sigma rule. these are the kind of things that make a difference if you want to work in a SOC, for example. Another really good example is to know about Windows hardening and how to deploy Windows patches and hardening Windows settings at scale. These are all examples of enterprise security challenges that you can walk into any network. You know, if they've got more than 5 people on the network, most likely you can apply these skills to make their network safer, okay? So if you are going to spend your time learning technical skills and developing those technical skills, make sure that you work on the right problem and that you work on problems that will help you advance your career, you know, for the many, many years to come. And thirdly, the third thing that I see as to why a lot of candidates are being rejected is because there's a misalignment between the behavior and the values of the candidates and the company values that they are applying to join. Every company and every HR department and team will have its own values, whether they know what those values are or not. But here are some examples of things that are reasons as to why we've turned down candidates and why I know some of other companies in the market are turning down candidates. Number one, maybe through conversations with you, they've kind of gotten a sense that you don't really push yourself. And if they give you a chance in an internship, you're just going to do the bare basics to complete your year and that's it. Most companies that will want to give you a chance at an entry-level role will want to see you push yourself to 100%. Another example is that we're seeing a lot of candidates that, because they have a bachelor or a master's, they feel entitled to a particular title or a particular salary package, even when they don't have the technical skills or the experience that goes with it. So you need to be really open-minded. If this is your first job, be ready to start at the very beginning of your career. It takes at least 20 years for anybody to build a career, so you got to start somewhere. Another thing that we see with a lot of candidates is that they don't really work or value what we call the soft skills. They don't write proper English. They don't communicate very well. Sometimes they can be rude without really wanting to be. And so these are things that a lot of companies will just not want to hire somebody that that kind of has these kind of behaviors or this absence of skills in these areas. Something that we see is that there are plenty of candidates that just don't come across like they're team players. They just won't fit in well within the team that is trying to recruit for somebody to join them. And so it's important for you to become a team player. Cybersecurity is a team sport. And so all this to say that, in short, you can't really hack your way to building trust with a prospective employer. What you have to display is you have to display honesty, you have to display consistency, you have to show that you can be somebody that can be depended on, that if you say something, you're going to do it by the time you've committed to doing it. And really, people also want to see you put in the hard work, put in the hard effort. That if they've given you a chance to join their team, you're going to make the most out of it, and you're really going to give back to that team with your energy and your hard work and your good work ethics, and how much your personality is also going to bring, some good energy to the team. So I hope that this video helps you and points you in the right direction. Thank you very much for watching. It's a pleasure to have you on our channel. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. We're going to continue publishing videos like this one every week, and we wish you a great rest of the day. Thank you. Bye-bye.